Hello, my name is... And if you want my name, I'm willing to give it to you in person. I don't have any particular direction I'm going with this video, other than it being a very simple yet vague prompt from one of Vin Jiang's adverts. I have a general idea of what I will go on a tangent about, but other than that, I'm just gonna spit the words where the wind blows. I can start with this list. My hobbies and interests. I love technical videos, be watching them all day in and day out. Here's a list for that. Live stream tech in general, specifically Twitch, not necessarily extending into broadcast TV or ham radio, just to be clear on that. Video calls I've been experimenting with lately. Video editing. I was doing Premiere, now I use DaVinci. Professional moving. And by moving, I mean the actual entire process of transporting all household objects and furniture from one house to another. Implementation of tech for unusual or common scenarios. Plumbing, podcasting, moving jobs, whiteboard conversations, car maintenance or fix-up jobs. I will find a way to implement tech to make it easier. Remote systems. More on that later. Ultimate desk setups, or even studio setups for that matter. Twitch streams, specifically variety streamers. VR tech and VR gaming. A mild bit of PC gaming. And anime. I will probably talk about 3 of these entirely, if not wholeheartedly. I'm not certified in any of this, by the way, or at least as of the time of me recording this. I just love deep diving into it every time the conversation allows for it. I'm always experimenting with different tech and software, and I'm doing V-calls with people, and the production of this video is no exception to that either. And now that you've made it this far into this icebreaker, so to speak, I'd like to give a tad bit of context for drawing schematics and remote systems in particular, as well as the V-calls, in case someone gets the wrong idea about that. Question: do I draw architecture level blueprints? No. No, I do not. The next question: do I draw anything in particular that's complex? Varies from person to person. Example, I explain something to someone who isn't exactly technical at heart, so instead of only verbalizing an idea or concept or plan of attack to said person, I will pull up Excalibur, if not just put an image on screen. Tis a very powerful multi-tool for drawing out schematics or blueprints. There is a free and paid version depending on your needs. The free version will have more than enough functionality to convey a relatively simple diagram to anyone really. Is that a PNG? Yes it is. And I just drag it right in there. Bam. It is a divine multi-tool. Anyways, I'll pull that up to explain maybe an unusual scenario or explain a scenario with a unique solution to it. Or a common scenario I've dealt with from time to time that is foreign to the person I'm talking to and draw it out so it makes sense. Other times I've used it to convey short stories to people, which I've only replayed with it a handful of times. That is better than MS Paint on Windows and better than the Mac Preview app. There's also PureF. PureF will be an honorable mention. This is not free, but you can pay as little as $3 for it or as high as $1 billion for it. It will not go lower than $3, and it will not go higher than the Burj Khalifa. It's near identical to Excalibur. Next topic, remote systems. There's RDC, remote desktop control, and there's RGS, remote guidance system. The only remote software I've had mild interaction with is AnyDesk and TeamViewer. AnyDesk in particular, I have downloaded as of watching a few videos from the Scammer Payback channel, not including this bad stack of every other RDC that exists. Disclosure mention: basic usage of these is free for most of these. Extensive usage is not free, and multiple people within a team managing a network of any sort is definitely not free. That being said, they each vary between one-time purchase versus the dreaded subscription model. End of notice. And then there's a PCOIP, which I believe stands for PC over Internet Protocol. To my knowledge, this was formerly known as TerraDG, and now it's called HP Anywhere. Also to my knowledge, correct me if I'm wrong at any point, this thing is a combo of 3 or more things. A physical connector, connection module, CAS, however you pronounce it, which I believe is acronym for Cloud Access Software, and the desktop app, which comes up as Anywhere Client, HP Anywhere. That is the software I would be utilizing to remote into an on-site computer from my work laptop for my current job. There is/has been only one particular factor that I had a curiosity in alleviating, but given how efficient the team I work with is with the work we've been doing for the past 4 to 5 years, I still don't really have a solid/easy excuse/reason to get on a call with my manager for maybe 30 minutes and get it patched up. The problem being, if you were so curious, when my manager would attempt to take remote control of my keyboard through my laptop, through the PCOIP window, his keyboard would just stop working altogether. And it required an infotech person to remote into my laptop, input his admin password, and then flip a switch or two, probably in the internal settings and the PCOIP software, to enable universal input control and quote-unquote triple throughput translation from a Mac keyboard to a Mac laptop utilizing a Windows keyboard. And then this is that whole explanation. It's nothing short of a convoluted string of connection points, having misconnection endpoints, and at the time of doing it, the purpose of the session was to have a minute interaction about whatever techniques I could be improving upon. In short, instead of him taking control of my keyboard, verbalizing my improvements through the session was enough to get the points across. The second thing I wanted to touch on was RGS, Remote Guidance Systems, is my latest obsession/deep interest. Here's the Vuzix M400, and the RealWear Navigator 500, among 4 others that exist. And yeah, that's how much that cost. Mind you, I don't know how many states this is available in, or how many countries this is available in internationally, but this thing is amazing. And then I just drag myself over here. You can see there's a little me display in there. And here is a diagram of each button and component of it. As far as marketing is concerned for the Vuzix, maybe it just doesn't hit my feed in particular, so arguably there's barely any marketing for it at all. Correct me if I'm wrong. The only reason I know about it is because of a Twitch streamer that utilizes it for his stream, so put that on screen. Anyways, a couple hours of scouring any and all information about it later, my old man occasionally brings me into the backyard to work on the car, talks about patching fixes around the house. Sometimes that'll include a mild plumbing job or two, in a very tight space, mind you. Other rare occasions include odd physical jobs, and let's just say, every time he discusses these fix-up jobs with me, my mind just instantly laser beams to one of those 2 headpieces. The downside to this scenario I'm breaking down is he's nowhere near as tech-savvy as me. Despite that, I've sort of figured out 1 or 2 alternatives to not owning the thing, or otherwise not dropping what would probably be $2,000 with taxes tacked on top. So without adding too many more minutes to this video, I'll just put these on screen with 0 context. And if you're interested in how the I got these to work, I will perhaps make a video on it in the future. When that will be is anyone's guess. Because you can get the combo of these two to work in terms of remote guidance with a little bit of setup. Anyways, there are a few videos that truly demo the Vuzix and its functionality, and this video specifically shows off exactly how pixel precise you can be with annotations. I'll let that play.
I just want to confirm we're both looking at the same neutral bar, so just stay put there. Okay, Reeve, can you see the snapshot that I've taken?
Yes, I can.
Brilliant. Okay, so I just want to confirm you're going to be working on this neutral bar here. That's the one you're going to be tightening up. Can you see that?
Yep, I can see the red circle.
Yeah, and it sounds as if the wire that you're working on is right there. Is that correct?
Yep.
That being said, the RealWear Navigator has way more demo videos of it, probably because it looks like a prop straight out of the Terminator series. And if this ain't the most robust piece of wearable tech for remote guidance I've ever seen, since a neck holder for your smartphone plus one of these bone conductor earphones with a microphone, if not headphones with a mic, such as what I'm wearing now, maybe you know something I don't. And by all means, we can talk tech over it. Anyways, if you're still watching this down and you're considering the remote guidance setup of your own making, these are free to use for one-on-one sessions, and unfortunately, ideally, the man or woman guiding you is better off staring at a full-size monitor than doing a FaceTime over phone type of interaction, and then having a mild use of OBS would be a bonus. And then my third talking point, ultimate deck setups, baby, which I think is entirely undermined across the board, because every office should have one, even computer repair shops. I'm sure hundreds of hours exist of room reviews and desk reviews. And then there's the LTT Ultimate Tech Upgrade Series, which is some god tier shit that every company should offer their work from home employees 1000%. Maybe after you've been working for them for X amount of time, you'd qualify for their next work from home candidate, and then I'd imagine you'd need to go through a bit of an at-home office upgrade, and then the company would pay for it. Estimates will vary per person per opinion. I know some peeps that would spend top dollar on the perfect desk, be it a gamer, be it a writer, especially live streamers, especially editors, desk rats. Simply put, a perfect desk with a curated layout will act as an extension of oneself. From the cable management to the monitor tech to the monitor arms to where the charging ports are and the placement of any other peripheral inputs. The other unique setup I've seen was from a remote call center employee. I wish for the life of me I could pull up the specific reel I saw off Instagram and slap it in here. I don't remember what the name of the username was, but I can show you that many of these exist of any number of different sizes and rack mounts and sockets for your gadgets. Maybe you can find one with drawers, and if it doesn't have certain mounting points to it, just get yourself some magnets or hooks and measure where you put them. But you get the idea of what I'm trying to convey here. And then you can see there's a battery right in there. And then you just put your laptop up right there, and you put your headphones right there. If you have any cables or whatnot you need to put away, just put it in that drawer. And then these wheels will lock, so if you did need to get into a sitting position and do your thing, you can do that in a chair. Pull up at the dinner table. And then you do have what I'm pretty sure is a pull arm for your dual monitor setup. Yeah, and then she can just freely move that around her house because her house had hardwood flooring. And then in consideration of the hardwood flooring, you ought to get rubber wheels. These things in particular. I have them on my chair. And then you have the portable power itself. If you wanted any other particular brand, there are several name brands out there. Anchor, Solex, Jackery, Blue Yeti, you name it. You just put it right on there. If not, I don't know, find some way to zip tie it on there, on the back if you wanted. And the wheel specifically will help with noise reduction when you're zooming around doing household chores. Otherwise, if you have carpeted floors, maybe putting plastic mats would be within your best interest at that point. But yeah, her setup gave her free range of motion throughout the house to let her do her housework or taking calls and stuff. All that being said, if you don't have the space or privilege, luxury to move and utilize a mobile standing desk, everyone should legally have the following list. I'm slightly out of frame. If I do this, there we go. All these. Depending on your setup, maybe you can take one or two out of it, depending on what kind of work type you do. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this probably makes an entire desk. And then video calls, the use of OBS and live stream tech. I don't live stream myself as of the time of writing this, because I live in a household of multiple people, and I dare not annoy them with the screams of hell in agony. Because every streamer I know, even the calm ones, get loud at points. I do, however, watch others live stream, or watch other live streamers, be it a VTuber or an in-real-life person on camera. As far as I can tell, everyone has a little something they can improve upon when doing a private video call, or even a live stream for that matter. And just to be clear, as of my current job, I'm not constantly in work calls all day, or virtual meetings for that matter. As of the time of recording this, I'm thankfully not forced into any virtual meetings either. That would have otherwise been a 10-minute read. So, instead, in my free time, I just do some little V-call experiments, and the ones I do are with my friends, and I treat them like podcast sessions, which I do not have proof of because I've explicitly stated that I have not recorded the first 8 to 10. The first 8 I have not recorded, but maybe I'll probably have proof of it in the future. To be dated, or to be posted. And then when I'm doing the video calls, I will have a tool set on the side. I like to use this Q&A wheel, for instance. It's got like 200 questions or so on it. I will also use Tenor or Jiffy. I'll definitely use Excalidraw. I'll have YouTube to explain or reference all my talking points or my friends' talking points. Because there are some GIFs you will only find on Tenor, and there are some GIFs that you will only find on Jiffy. And then I'll have a handful of plugins that are internal to my computer's file system, so I can shoot off VFX whenever I please for fun, and a soundboard site, which I will actually bring up, because I actually think that's really a fun thing to bring up. Urgency. I love it. I love the soundboard. And then, yeah, I do all that all set up. I want to put on an enhanced to casual meeting to really maximize what I can do with my computer when I'm interacting with someone who is so much 3 hours away from me in the same state, or in another country or something that's 12-hour flight away. And yeah, I think that'll do it. Peace.